Good morning. If you want to see how we rebuilt this kitchen cabinet drawer, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Welcome to another Memphis Monday, Memphis Monday 277. Today we got my favorite kind of project, fixing stuff. My neighbor knows I like to fix stuff, and he brought me over this kitchen drawer, made out of that particle board, and it got wet and it demanufactured itself. It's going to have to be completely rebuilt, but we're not going to get any of that rebuild done unless we knock off the chit chat and get to work. When you first get to looking at this, you kind of think, well, that maybe you can just clean this rabbit out and clean this dado out here and clean this thing up and put it all back together. The problem is this particle board has gotten wet and it's swollen up and it's warped it. And same thing with the sides here. They've sort of just exploded and from the water. So my plan is to take this thing apart very carefully so that I can just replace the parts part by part. Well, there's only three things I have to make. I have to make two sides and one back, but I have to clean up, have to make sure the parts are precise. So as I take it apart, I'll take measurements and stuff. This will no doubt be a short video for you guys, but for me, I like to do these kind of jobs so much that I take my time, and because I enjoy it so much. I like when I take these apart, I like to see, this was made in a factory, and I like to guess how everything was done and why it was done that way. And these here you can see, I'm talking about how it expanded. See how that, where it got wet, that it worked that board. The sides here are held in with glue and three pretty long staples. I'm going to try to pound that out and then very carefully unhook it from this mortise and tenon joint here at the front. Now I'm going to try not to break anything too bad here because I want to use these parts as a model. Oh, that came out nice. Now for Mission Impossible. Got to try to get this mortise and tenon out of here, and it's held in with staples. That's a 7/16 inch mortise, and here are the staples right there. There's three of them. They go in kind of at an angle. I'm going to try to work my ice pick in there and see if I can pull any of these staples out. I think I figured out how to get these out. I can fish them out a little bit with my ice pick, and if I can get a hold of them with my pliers, I can cut them. And now I have two wires going into there, and I can pull those two wires out individually. There's one. Okay, I'll do the other side and be able to take this thing apart. Yeah, I got most of the staples out of this mortise and tenon joint down here. Now I think if I can knock it apart. There's the back off of it. Now these, oh yeah, this is the one that's still got a staple in it. Yeah, but it came out pretty easy. First thing I think I'll do is try to clean some of this glue out. I don't know what kind of glue this is. They weren't very careful about putting it in, I'll tell you that. It's real rubbery. Here's one of the sides. I'm going to do this dado right here, or this rabbit right here first. I'm doing a practice cut right now. This is my practice cut. Make sure I'm doing it right. This is just a practice cut, but let's see if this thing's... This is the stuff I'm going to use for the bottom. Well, it feels perfect. Okay, the depth is just right. The width is just right. All three sides need this rabbit, so I'm going to do it on all three sides right now. I was able to get all those rabbits made. Here's the original. You can see how it's swollen up. Here's a new piece. The dados, it's got this side dado here, and it's got a little dado on the back to receive the back. And it's got a little dado here in the front. They were all the same depth, so they were pretty easy to do. Here's the back piece. You can see it's got a little rabbit along it to receive the bottom, but I cut that off on the replacement piece because I'm going to put it on top and nail it down. Here's our drawer guides. Here's our drawer front. I'll clean that up with a little soap and water. The only thing I'd had to do here was clean this dado out. Actually, it's a mortise. Cleaned it out a little bit with a router bit. Forgot to film it. And here's our bottom. difference with this bottom is, of course, it's much better plywood, and this is the original bottom here. The new bottom is a little bit, the old bottom was 7/16, and this is a full half inch. Now in theory, what I'm doing here is just putting the box back the way it was with parts that are essentially the same as the old parts. Without getting glue all over everything. Now, they had glue in this thing, so I'm putting glue back here in this mortise. I'm putting the bottom on actually before I put the ends in. Should have put some. I don't think I'll put any glue on the sides. Okay, so now my bottom goes in like this. Okay, now I put the back end. I think I will put some glue on that. It's going to go in right here. Put some glue right on the end of my boards. I put some glue on here too. This original fake wood here, this is like fake oak, and it's colored this golden oak color. So I'm going to stain. You don't have to stain drawer boxes, but normally, but for this, the old one was colored, so I'm going to stain the whole thing with this golden oak. And not only that, this is poplar here, so it's not going to take the stain the same as the oak plywood would. To the bottom of the box, because the original, here's the original. This went to the inside. And then this particle board was on the very outside, and it wasn't stained. So I'm not going to stain ours either. Now you want to be careful on stuff like this because you don't want this thing to stand out. So I don't want to put any kind of finish or anything on this front because it'll stand out from the other drawer fronts. If I put poly on it or you know, any kind of fancy shine, it's going to be shining, and all the rest of them just draw attention to itself. These aren't like the $1 million drawer slides that we always use. These just screw on with a couple of screws, hold up the bottom of the drawer. Well, here's our project for Memphis Monday 277. We basically took these broken parts from the drawer, which was this particle board, got wet and destroyed itself. We basically took these 4 parts, reproduced them as exactly as we could, and then we assembled a new drawer. Simple as that. Well, that'll do it for Memphis Monday 277. We started the episode out with a bunch of a basket case drawer. Long and short of it, we just took the old parts, reproduced them as accurately as we could, and assembled a new drawer. And we got to use our brand on there. Takeaways, I guess, is we used lots of better wood, and another takeaway is, since we're just restoring one drawer, we don't want it to look different than the others. So we didn't do anything to the front here, just cleaned it up a little bit because we don't want it to stand out. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good, and so I'm pretty satisfied. So like, share, favorite, all the stuff you do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.